Hi there, this is Rich Grof from RG Performance Sales Coaching and Leadership Development. Today we're going to talk about goals that inspire greatness. You know, when you set a goal, it's very, very important to know that you need to be inspired by your goal. You know, we talk about passion, we talk about a few of the components of that, but you know, here's the thing that we got to do. We got to set a goal. And what's a goal? Well, a goal is actually something that you want to accomplish with a specific date on it. Without a date, it's nothing more than wishful thinking. Wishful thinking and fantasies are wonderful to have, but they don't make business happen. They don't make reality happen in our lives. And so you got to set a goal. Now you got to say to yourself, okay, well, what kind of goal do I want to set? Now here's the big thing about goal setting that usually blows up most people that are setting up goals. They will turn around and set a goal when they don't know exactly how to execute it. That creates enormous amount of stress. And so unless you're that type of individual that's motivated by huge amounts of stress temporarily, you got to know that most people will be overwhelmed, and they will find that the process of learning actually takes them too much time before their goal is ready to take place. So therefore what happens is they get demotivated. So here's how it goes. I set a goal that I'm going to hit a certain benchmark, or I'm going to talk to 10 clients, or I'm going to have 10 contracts. And please, by the way, make your goal something you can control. You can't make people sign a contract, but you can definitely turn around and talk to a certain number of people. That's what I'm talking about. So it's the action that you actually do. So if you're setting your goal in such a way that you're going to talk to 10 people by 90 days. So at about the 45-day mark, if you're at 3 contacts, you're actually less than where you need to be. You should be about half and half. So your brain's going to go, ooh, we're running behind. Now, at some level, that'll make you perform better. But you will start to look at that continually. And if in the next week you don't turn around and land more contacts where you're talking to folks, your goal will get farther and farther behind, and your brain immediately figures out that you're never going to make it by extrapolating and pushing forward. Now, that type of thinking is very common. That type of thinking is the kinds of things we've been taught in school for years. If it happened in the past, therefore, as it is in the past, you will be doing it in the future. Now, I got to let you know that that is somewhat correct in certain places, but in most cases, when it comes to business, that doesn't work. If you take a look at history and then try and plan a future based on history and what has happened in history, all you're going to do is repeat history. Think about that. If I take all the components of what I've done in this last year and I turn around and I reprogram them in my personal computer in the sense of what I do every day for the next 12 months, I'm more than likely going to repeat the same process. So looking back does not help you make a future. So how do great innovators make things happen? When you think about the innovation of the telephone, the computer, and all those different types of things, they were people that did not look at history. If they did look at history and they wanted to use that as a benchmark for future success, it was only to grab a small fraction of information. But what they said to themselves was very simple. They said, this is what I want to create. Something new, something innovative. What is it I need to do? They didn't look back. They didn't look anywhere but forward. Now think about this. I've heard this story before, and I'm sure you have too. But jet airplanes don't have rear view mirrors. Why? Think about it. If you're traveling that fast, there's no turning around. You don't need to worry what's coming up behind you, because the only thing you need to worry about is where you're going. That's why we don't have rear view mirrors. If you're continually looking in the rear view mirror of what you're doing in your business without actually just taking around some energy and putting some energy into what you need to do, chances are you're going to repeat past examples of what you've done. And that's what happens in all kinds of business situations. So the skill that I want you to grab today when it comes to goal setting is I want you to turn around and I want to put goal setting on its head. I want you to turn around and say, what is it I want to achieve? And you know what? Be crazy. I mean, it doesn't cost any more to be crazy. Set a target on something. I want to get to, I'm at one level in my business. I want to get up to the next level in my business, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's up 50%, maybe it's up 100%. I've helped a ton of people do all kinds of crazy things, from 50 to 200% increases in their business. And these are people that were somewhat successful when they started. So it wasn't like they were just starting out. I'm talking about people that had regular income, they were paying their bills and all the rest of that stuff, and I've helped them do some miraculous things. And this is the thinking process that I help them with. I want you to turn around and imagine what it's like for you to actually be where you need to go. I want you to turn around and say to yourself, well, if that's what my day is going to look like, what kind of skills, what kind of abilities, what kinds of things will I need to be doing to turn around and get that accomplished? And it doesn't matter what it is, you will probably need a new set of skills. So there's new skills on how you're going to handle clients. There's going to be new skills on how you handle employees. There'll be new skills on how you handle your finances. All of those new skills will be required. That's what you focus in on. That's what you set your goals on. If you get good enough at all the right components, you can turn around and have a super huge increase this year strictly by turning around and focusing in on the right type of goal setting. It takes innovative thinkers to change the world. You're one of those innovative thinkers by choice if you turn around and grab this information and start to think differently. If you take a look at the people that you know around you that are maybe in your industry, or maybe they're people that are on your street, or maybe people in your local area that you know are very successful, and you would call those people successful, and you take a look at what you know or do, you got to know that what they bring to the table and what you bring to the table is probably very, very similar in the sense of skills and abilities. What makes somebody accelerate and have a very large business versus somebody who's struggling in business and sales is the way that they look at their growth. If you're willing to go crazy and just say, I'm going to do that, whatever that is, and do it, you know, that's the thing that's going to make things work. You know, I tell a story about a person that I met. His name's Bernie. Bernie's an excellent gentleman to know if you ever get the opportunity. Here's the thing about Bernie. When Bernie was about 40, he wanted to decided in his own mind what he wanted to do was test himself to find out what he was really made of. He put himself through a series of challenges, and this challenge had nothing to do with anything in business. It had nothing to do with anything that he had to do in life, other than who he was as a human being. What he decided to do was actually take a 10-speed bike. If you remember what 10 speeds are, those are single tire, you know, we call them mountain bikes, but road bikes now. And he was going to go from Alberta in Canada all the way to the coast, which is, if you take a car, you know, a very, very long distance on a bike. What happened in this journey was, you know, he planned and planned and planned and planned and tried to do everything right. And he would, you know, turn around and jump on the bike, and he did everything that we normally would do to become successful. He jumped on the bike, he got on the bike, he planned it all out in his head, loaded up all his supplies, and then he went off to try out for the first day. And so he's training. He got about an hour out of town, and then he turned around and was tired, and he got his wife to come pick him up, so off they went back again. The next day, next 2 days later, he's doing the same thing. He said, oh, I'm going to get an accountability partner. So he gets an accountability partner, somebody that knew how to bike, and the two of them went off, and they waited an hour and a half. Now, an hour and a half in the mountains of Canada is nothing in the scheme of 30 hours up and down and up and down, up and down. Now, the story goes on. It's a long story, and it's a wonderful story, but the bottom line was this. Bernie didn't get to the coast until the day that he was ready to leave, and he told his wife, look, I want you to go to the coast. I'll meet you there. He basically cut his parachute. He cut his parachute, and so he didn't have anybody to pick him up, and he had to make it there. Now, he went his original hour and a half, and about an hour and a half into his drive or his bike, what he noticed was that he had way too much stuff, and he started dumping stuff, dumping this, dumping that, and he got down to the bare essentials of what he needed. We're going to do the same thing in our business too. He had troubles, he had strife, he had all kinds of things happen to him along the way. He almost got pushed off a cliff. There's all kinds of things that happen in this story, but the bottom line was he went and he cut his parachute, so he had to do what he had to do. Sometimes we need to be in those positions. Sometimes we need to mentally create an environment where we can't fail. When failure is not an option, goal setting gets really easy, because all our goal is going right there and just turning around and doing what we need to do. And so instead of creating a parachute for yourself and security blankets with finances and all the rest of that stuff in your business, you know what? I dare you to cut your parachute. It's the thing that'll bring some life to your life. It's the thing that'll also turn around and get you going, and also set the barrier, or pardon me, eliminate the barriers to your success. So if you want to know what a good set of goals is for you, you got to turn around and make them real. You got to turn around and make them so that you believe them. You got to turn around and make them inspiring. And I just want you to really cut your parachute and get really clear about what it is that you really need to chase after. It has to be inspiring. This is Rich Grof. This is about goal setting. If you're looking for a fantastic year this year, we would love to talk to you. We have all kinds of things we can help you with, but bottom line is this: we wish you great success and look forward to hearing about those. If you like the video, please put a like in there. Give us your comments so we know what we can also help you with when it comes to the next video or two that we're doing. My name again, Rich Grof, RG Performance Sales Coaching and Leadership Development. Have a great day.